What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're taking a look at Jedi Survivor here, and you're probably already aware that this game has launched in a pretty horrible state like many other PC games have recently. So we're only going to go so deep in this video. I don't want to get too crazy with things because I'm sure we're going to have patches incoming that fix up the game. We must have patches incoming that fix up the game, but let's get into it a little bit here anyways. 1440p high, FSR on quality, RT off, VSync off here, and for the most part, especially in this first mission, your performance is all over the place and you can get as low as 30 FPS with these settings, and it doesn't really matter if I tweak the settings a whole lot. If I go in here and turn off FSR, we only lose a few frames per second here. It's not the kind of change that you would normally expect out of something like that, and that's because the optimization with the game is definitely an issue, just like The Last of Us and Gotham Knights, which is what this game really reminds me of, kind of a mash of the two. As you see here that we're not even pushing our GPU to the 99% we would want to, and we're not even really stressing out the CPU that much, so we should be able to push those frames a lot better here, but the poor optimization is really holding things back just like those other games. Switching over to Epic here, keeping the other settings the same, you really don't lose much. There's not much difference between the performance of Epic or high here, and of course without proper resources being used that would be the case. Switching down to low here, again, you're not going to gain a lot in FPS. You do use even less GPU though, which really isn't a great thing in this case, and low with FSR off looks horrible because without FSR upscaling, for some reason the low texture resolutions look horrible in the game, and also 50% GPU usage and same frame rate, so you're kind of stuck when it comes to 30 to 50 FPS in a lot of the game, especially in certain missions and in this beginning mission. Combat is okay. It's the same kind of frame rate bouncing up and down. The problem with this is it can mess with your frame times, and in other areas of the game that might run worse or during larger battles, you could really have some trouble with the timing of the combat, and I could see definitely dying during some tense battles with the kind of frame rate spikes and drops that we do get. Now, if I go in here and turn on ray tracing for the fun of it, I know probably shouldn't bother, but I wanted to see what it would do anyway. And of course, as I expected, especially with just FSR not really having DLSS on here, there's only so much we can do, especially in a broken game. So yeah, ray tracing right now is not going to be something I would recommend getting into, and in other parts of the game it's certainly going to suffer. But all in all, it is fairly unfortunate that we get a game performing like this. Very much like I said, The Last of Us and Gotham Knights is really what this is reminding me of, because the game itself, since recording this footage and kind of putting everything down for a little bit and just playing for a couple of more hours into the game and some other worlds, while the performance certainly is all over the place, the game itself is fantastic as a sequel. I'm definitely going to be beating it and playing through it a couple of times, but I sure do hope we can get these performance fixes sooner rather than later. I mean, we have areas like this that we can dip down all the way to, like I said, 30 FPS, and I've even seen, I believe, 20 FPS at one point when I was playing. Now, there are other maps and areas of the game where performance does push your GPU to 99%. Seems like things run more normally as you would expect. Frame rate then goes up into the 60s, which you would also get on that first mission if you were pushing your GPU to 99%. And it just seems like something about certain areas of maps do run better. Now, this is certainly the exception and not the rule, though, when it comes to the game. It does dip all over the place, even later on this map where the usage goes down and we do have some issues that I ran into. Frame rate caps would help a little bit with that to mitigate things if you are trying to play while waiting on patches, but this certainly is a disappointing state to have a game that I've been looking forward to for so long launch in. Jedi Fallen Order is one of my favorite games ever, especially definitely one of my favorite Star Wars games ever, and as a game and as the story and as the combat and everything for this game, I definitely am loving it so far. The game itself is excellent, but the performance, the bugs, the crashes are horrible. I personally in 5 hours haven't crashed yet or had major bugs yet, but the performance has absolutely been all over the place. Alright guys, I don't have much more to say about it on this one. I do hope we see patches soon. I don't want to go much farther with it considering it is a fairly broken game at the moment, so buy it at your own risk. I certainly understand wanting to jump in and play. I know I'm going to play through it anyway, and just go through it for the story, something I've been looking forward to. Alright guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video as always. I'll see you in the next one.